Hello, Sharpies. I'm Tom Cunningham,
Now I'm Joy Stevens.
and this is Steel Sharpens Steel. Even Marie got in on the game today, and she welcomed Anthony into the chat because, I mean, at this point, it's kind of a foregone conclusion that Anthony is going to be the person he's our official greeter to the
Yes,
show. I
yes.
think that's what we're calling you now, Anthony. You are our official greeter.
Ursha
So,
Turner.
Ursher.
Ursha
We have
Turner.
He's got his white gloves. He's ready to seat you. So that's what. Won't you come? And we thank you for coming to Steel Sharpens Steel. We know that we are in mourning about not being in mourning, or maybe we're in mourning about not being in Jubilee. I know that there have been some very interesting posts.
Right.
I myself posted after the rumors kind of broke, and I wasn't really expecting it, quite frankly.
I do be getting my hopes up though. Like I saw a rash of things go by. Like, did it? Was it? Is it? And I was like, what? Oh,
Yeah,
it's still
I'm
there.
happy to wait until my birthday. Um, if it's Beyonce's birthday, that would have been a
Poetic,
momentous day for it
right?
to happen. But it ain't, and so consequently, we get to experience everything else that has happened to the country this week in the aftermath of it not happening. And so, among the things
Well,
that
only the good die young. So I don't know why we thought that he would go. He gonna outlive us
Giorgio
both.
Armani, though, um, he died 91 years old. So I think that's proving your treatise.
Yes.
I don't know
Good
that
news.
Giorgio Armani had anything particularly bad that I knew about him, but
Mhm.
he made it to 91, and he probably employed children in his factories when
I'm
he
sure
was
he did.
homeless at some point.
Right.
So
Well, you'll
that's
be able
pretty
to
awesome.
employ children in some of the southern states in a few months. So
Well, yes, absolutely. We won't have to offshore those jobs, and your high fashions will look like Gordon Cartrell shirts made by.
because I'm gonna tell you right now, American
Denise
unskilled labor is absolute basura. Like they can't do
Basura.
seregi, which is
Oh,
Korean for
Korean.
trash. Yes,
See, I knew that. I didn't even have to watch K-pop Demon Hunter to know that.
which you should because it's a great show.
Well, I saw that there was a sing-along version of the thing, and I thought that my boys, because they're really into anime, but I guess they're not as much into Korean anime, and I didn't realize, because it's called K-pop Demon Hunter, I wasn't thinking, I guess just because of the Demon Hunter part, I was thinking it was a boy K-pop band as opposed to a girl K-pop band.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, the boys definitely aren't going to try to go see this in a theater with me. So, but I guess it's also now available on some of the streaming things. And
So the thing about K-pop dinner, it started off on Netflix. So here's the fumble of the year. If you want to know the whole story, hang on.
Thank you. Please
So
enlighten
Sony spent 100 mil. Sony spent a ridiculous amount of money to make this movie. So they had the voice actors. It was, hand illustrated, et cetera, big production. And then for some reason, they felt like it wasn't going to do well because it was unknowns and no really big names. And even the big Korean names, like they're big, but they're Korean. So we don't really know them. Like all the stereotypes that they talk about whenever they have a piece of art that is predominantly people of color. So they sold it and short sold it to Netflix for $20 million. Sold the rights. And Netflix is like, yeah, we'll take that. Let me hit that. And then they put it out on Netflix first, and it became a global phenomenon. It is to date the single most watched animated movie of all time across any streaming network. Everybody has seen K-pop Demon Hunters. They have merch. They have fans. They have a freaking light stick. Like you see this light stick behind me on my wall? That's my Stray Kids light stick. There is a Huntrix light stick. There's a Saja Boys light stick. I pre-ordered the Derpy Tiger from, there's a tiger that just kind of looks like, in the whole show. I ordered Derpy Tiger pre-order for $50, $50 from the Netflix shop. So now Sony was trying to get back in on the money, and they're like, nah, we're going to release this in the theaters as a sing-along. And even though I'd already seen it twice on my own TV at home, I spent another $15 to go to a
Go
matinee,
see it in the theater.
saying at the top of my lungs, cried my eyes out, and this is what it sounds like, because that movie has as much, it's a cultural pop culture moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wouldn't say it is, actually, yeah, I might. It's going to sound weird, but from a important to a demographic standpoint, I would say it's as important as Sinners. And that's
Oh
saying
wow. Oh, I see. Got it. I understand. From the context of the cultural importance and the impact.
Yes.
To a specific segment of the culture that doesn't often get to be celebrated, especially in America.
Right.
You know.
And it's got a hot soundtrack. Like the soundtrack has been trending. The lady that her name is EJ, she sings the lead for the Huntrix girls. The Huntrix songs and the Soulja Boy songs have fought back and forth for #1 on Spotify for weeks.
Oh,
they're outselling real live K-pop groups.
Oh, because these people, the voice actors in K-pop Demon Hunter aren't in a group. It's not like Blackpink starring in K-pop Demon Hunters. These are just voice actors and a woman that they got to be the singer of this fictional group.
And the funny thing about the woman who's a singer, EJ, she was supposed to be an idol. She was supposed to debut, and she never really did. So she just kind of sat back in the cut, doing some songwriting, you know, kind of keeping her voice, doing voice coaching, whatever she was doing, adjacent to the industry. And so when Sony came looking for someone that could sing in Korean, they didn't want to hire Jennie or Lisa or anybody from Blackpink. They're like, let me find somebody we can get on the low, right?
Right.
And so she's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Because she has an amazing voice. And now people are doing voice challenges to try to sing her song.
Sing like
because
her. Wow.
the high notes in Golden are ridiculous. And she has the #1 song on Spotify. She finally got her debut. It's a great story, right?
You know what's crazy? I have this app that allows me to pay my rent, and they have a contest every month at the end of the preceding month. They have a contest where you can answer some questions, and if you get the highest, if you one of the top 10 scores by answering these pop culture questions, then you will have your rent paid up to $2,500, which is nice. You know. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I'll try it. Whatever. And the comedian Mateo Lane, who is very funny, he was answering these questions with the host on the app. And so one of the questions was, what was the song of the summer? And there were, I think, 5 choices, whatever it was. And I don't think I got any of them, but Golden was one of the songs. But when I thought Golden, I thought Jill Scott. And I was like, that song is so damn old. How would that be the song of the summer? And then I just didn't recognize. There was a Samantha, whoever the Samantha girl is, she had a song, but I didn't know it was her. And if I had known it was her, I would have chosen it as one of the songs. I got none of them right. And I ended up in the rankings. So I was like, oh, I got some points. And, you know, and some of these questions were hard. How would anybody know these questions? I was 49,351st. I didn't even get a nickel to my rent.
Up against some Gen Z that needed that money a whole lot more than you did.
Listen, I was, and they had a Cracker Barrel question. I got 2 of the 3 Cracker Barrel questions because it was, you know, what are the things that are most associated with Cracker Barrel? And they had the peg game, which was one of my choices because when I went to Cracker Barrel, when I was at FAMU, you have to play the peg game. And then it was the biscuits. I got biscuits in the peg game. I didn't get the store. I chose the rocking chair because
the
to me,
store. Yeah.
Sitting in the rocking chair is iconic.
The only reason I ever went into Cracker Barrel was for fudge and for books on CD because I used to drive for long times when I was in corporate America. But yeah, now I don't go in there. They can change the logo all they want. But
and speaking of Cracker Barrel and changing logos, we have this one that was provided. It came by way of one of my Facebook friends from high school, Russ Ronsky, and it's a trap. And kudos to that person for actually being able to use all of the letters in the Cracker Barrel and just delete the ones that don't say Akbar.
Yeah.
I thought that was super duper worth it, and I really appreciated
Yeah,
that
that
story.
was nice. That was great detail. I
Yeah,
love the
that was pretty
creativity that you
awesome.
tend to see on the internet. Like
All over the
we are
internet.
unserious and highly creative.
Correct. And that's the way it should be, because
Yeah.
we're living in the end times of reality. Because quite honestly, I, as Kamala Harris said, I told y'all,
Hmm.
I just didn't think it would happen this fast.
Right.
And we are definitely it's happening super duper fast.
Except the one thing we
And
want to have happen, not yet. But related to this though, and he may want to go ahead and scalp out here before it happens. Epstein's victims have been speaking out.
ooh, listen, uh, this is a picture of the press conference. So this was a 1-2 punch for the Trump administration, and there's actually a third, a three-piece combo on this. So the first thing is that they brought these women, these survivors, who were girls, and you see, take a look at how young these women look.
Right. And
It's
none of
been
these women
20
over 40.
years.
Right.
It's been 20 years. Some of these women look like they're still in their 20s or low 30s, which gives you
Yes.
an impression of how diabolical and disgusting
Right.
this whole Epstein thing was. So the first thing is they took them into this group of congresspersons to hear their testimony. It was so harrowing that Nancy Mace left and ran out of the hearing in tears. And she was one of the 3 Republicans outside of Massey who have signed on to the discharge petition to force the DOJ to give up all of the Epstein files. They've been doing this drip, drip, drip. The first tranche of files was almost all redacted, and it was all stuff that
Mhm.
we'd seen before. And then they sent another little thing. They sent the Ghislaine Maxwell transcript, although you can't even describe it as a transcript because we don't have the recordings and there was no court reporter in there. So it's what you chose to put out about
Right.
the Ghislaine Maxwell interviews. And she was just lying anyway.
Right.
So Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the fact that I'm saying her name without disdain is stunning. And
Hmm.
then Lauren Boebert. Those are the 3 GOP congresspersons plus Massey who have signed on. All of the Democrats have signed on. So they need like 4 or 5 more. And I posted a list on my social media of the 9 GOP
Yeah.
Republican or GOP women in the House who are from New York and Florida. There are some big names on there, not the least of which is Elise Stefanik and also Anna Paulina Paluna Luna, whatever her name is. She's also trying to make a name for herself. She's from Florida. Elise is obviously from New York. The reason it's important is that those were the states where it is confirmed, absolutely ironclad confirmed, that Jeffrey Epstein was FAing these girls
Right.
as young as 13. And Comer tried to say, well, what we've seen is that Donald Trump's name isn't in any of this, except literally in the testimony. One of the girls said when Ghislaine and Jeffrey were trying to groom me, they
Right. They
talked about their
bragged about.
friends
Hmm.
and their powerful friends, and Donald Trump was the first name out of their mouths. So
Hmm.
even if Donald Trump's behavior or his conduct may not be revealed in the fullness of the Epstein files, we know his name is all through it because they had
Hmm.
1,000 FBI agents going through and redacting every mention of his name.
Right.
But B, Epstein was one of his best friends. That same woman who gave the testimony about his name being used to coerce her said in Epstein's office, there was a picture of Trump on his desk.
Yeah. To show how good of friends they were.
They were best friends. And
Yeah.
so Ghislaine's just lying. And guess what? Lying to a DOJ agent is another felony.
Only if they charge you with it.
Correct. Well, yes, absolutely. But I have a feeling that if Ghislaine is brought in, I mean, because once the discharge position goes and they've got to start releasing the big set of files, Ghislaine may have to come and answer in front of Congress. And it won't be as friendly as Trump's former personal attorney saying, so tell me again how Trump was not in anything in the
Absolutely not.
files. Can
If he
you?
has to go before Congress, I promise you, boo boo, she don't want no parts of Jasmine Carter.
Oh, no, you
Crockett.
do
She don't want
not.
no parts of Jasmine Crockett.
No, Jasmine Crockett is going to fillet her. Maxwell.
Yes.
So, oh, and she came up with a new nickname for Ghislaine, Monster Maxwell. She told them that's what you need to start calling her, Monster Maxwell,
You
because she is
do.
a monster.
You
That's what
do,
she said.
because we believe that Aunt Lydia in The Handmaid's Tale is a monster. And she
Oh yeah,
does. She traffics, she abuses and traffics women into the homes of all of these powerful men. That's exactly what she was doing.
it's what she
And she's
did.
a monster.
She is. And Trump calling it a hoax after these women were in front of cameras
Mhm.
describing what happened, saying, I'm not a hoax. It was not a hoax. I was abused. I was assaulted.
Mhm.
And Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell SA'd me.
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you, I want to give all honor, respect, and appreciation and gratitude to the women that came forward to say this again, because it is traumatic to have to speak out loud in front of anyone, let alone
Yep.
strangers and, ostensibly the rest of the world, and say this happened to me. Because
Yep.
you're going to get people to say, you just in it for the money, you're just lying, et cetera, et cetera. You were 12 years old, you're old enough to make a decision, whatever kind of bullshit they're about to say. And to put yourself in that situation, to have to deal with this for the fourth or fifth time,
Yep.
and still not be able to make headway, and still potentially know that this is will be fruitless, because they're going to continue to just gloss over things and still come out and say that I got nothing but respect for those women. Nothing but respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, while we're talking about this, I've mentioned Massey's name. He is the GOP congressperson who is allying himself with Ro Khanna as the lead authors of the discharge petition. This is what they tried to get done before Mike Johnson scrambled and sent the entire
Everybody.
House on vacation for a month,
Mhm.
thinking that maybe it'll die down by the time we get back. And
I got to give it to the American people, at least the ones on Threads. Every day is like, you know what? Today is my birthday, and what I want for my birthday is release the Epstein files. Every day. You know what? I had strawberry smoothie for breakfast, and also release the Epstein files.
Grease the Epstein files.
Right.
So
Everybody.
here is the kind of baller that Massey is, right? So Massey got the book apparently that doesn't exist, supposedly. He got the black book. And this is what he had to say. Let me give you the name of one of the billionaires who's running $2 million of ads in my district since I started this effort. His name is John Paulson. He's a hedge fund manager and a major donor to the Republican Party, a major donor to the Speaker of the House, a major donor to the president's campaign, and he's in Epstein's black book. Now that's public, but that's indicative of the types of people who may be implicated or just embarrassed by a complete release of these files. So there's that. And this is the thing. They keep saying, because Bill Clinton, guess what? Bill Clinton's name was mentioned. And
So,
not just I was on the right, but I'm saying still with Bill Clinton's name and this woman saying she was on a trip to Africa with Bill Clinton. That's what she said, one of the victims. All 212 of the Democrats have still signed it.
yes.
All of the
We don't give a
212.
damn
And
about Bill
Jasmine
Clinton. No
Crockett
way.
herself said, we don't care. We want anybody brought to justice. We do not care. It's the Republicans. And after the fact that you have the Stones to sit when these women come out, the women are compiling their own list of the people who personally abuse them.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are re-traumatizing these women, to a woman, almost all of them broke down in front of the microphone at the press conference. Obviously, the congressional testimony was closed door. But if Nancy Mace came squirming out of there with tears in her eyes and the mascara running, that means it was some dramatic testimony.
You have to understand. So you do understand what is the probability. How can I put this? Most women lose their virginity around 16 to 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are trafficking 14 and 15-year-olds, they're raping virgins. And that is their first experience. You do understand that that's some of the trauma that these women have gone through. And one of the women I remember talking about Epstein saying it's better for someone like Trump to take their virginity than some loser or
Yes.
whatever. So yes, it's a lot of, and that actually goes back to Europe. Probably
Mhm.
the same motherfucker that got took out of Europe, because it used to be this lie and fake news and false science that if you had syphilis, the blood of a virgin would cure it. So all they're doing is giving syphilis to virgin girls and then put them in a whorehouse. Tell me how this is different.
I it is absolutely revolting
It's
that
revolting.
that this is where we are as a country, that this is even contemplated, much less. But then again, look at the GOP people. There are GOP reps
Hmm.
retiring at the state level. I don't think anybody from the federal level is retired yet, but there are GOP state reps retiring because they have been busted with child porn
Hmm.
on their
Over and
laptop.
over again. There was another. I don't know where I put it, but I saw. I think I put it on my story on Instagram, and it's like, you do realize the reason they stopped airing To Catch a Predator is because they kept catching Congress people and law enforcement agents. Yes, and FA and FO is going to be a long season. Incidentally, Sam, I saw what you said about your psychosis, COVID, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. I hope you
Yeah,
continue to heal.
that's great.
Mhm.
It's, you know what? Um, don't go to Florida because
You think COVID is bad?
listen, if you think COVID is bad, how about some polio? This is something that that Joy shared in our chat. I'm going to Disney World.
Right. And
Oh,
the reason that this is trending right now is there's not like there aren't any confirmed cases of polio in Florida.
right.
However, they've absolutely done away with the need for vaccines in the state. You don't have to get vaccinated at all in the state. And Sam, you are right, child. Florida gonna kill us all of us. It
Uri
is it's,
one.
Florida is state zero. It's not even patient zero. It is state zero.
It's zip code 0.
Exactly.
You know, and I saw a guy, I don't know if he may have been a state rep or something like that, but they found this black talking head to
Mm,
stand up and celebrate the termination of vaccine mandates. And he was trying to equate it to slavery, making a very poor logical fallacy, um, and saying that, well, demanding that someone put something in their body. And the first thing that occurred to me is, well, what if I don't want polio in my body?
right.
What if I don't want measles in my body or my child's body? But because
Or my child's body.
you don't care about sending your child to school with measles. And
Right.
so my kid gets sick. Because even if you have the vaccine, measles is nothing nice. I don't know why you people, it's not like chickenpox or whatever. Measles is a deadly disease. You might want to stream the season of American Horror Story Hotel and look at how bad measles can. Granted, it was with vampire children, but the point is that measles is
Mhm.
horrible.
And actually, this is just who Marie was talking about. I found him. He's the Surgeon General of the state of Florida, and his name is Joseph Ladapo, and he is melanated. I'm not sure if he identifies as African American or he may be Cuban American. I'm not sure,
Oh, that's
but
him. That's
yeah,
him. That's the dude who was saying that BS.
yes, he's the Surgeon General for the state of Florida.
The hell you say? Yeah. So
Early
Sam
in
says,
the morning, I put
I put
measles on
measles
your
on your
table.
table. I tried to get your polio because ain't got vaccines. I mean,
Nice, nice.
man, listen. I Yeah, I'm not even gonna put his. He kind of looks like an actor, uh, but I don't want to put that into the universe because I don't want people hazing this dude. But
Nah,
this guy is a clown.
he's
He
a
is a
whole
complete
jackhole.
clown.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely nuts.
with his lies and his craziness, and the fact that you can have someone be appointed Surgeon General. Think about the job description of the Surgeon General. You're supposed to protect the health and safety of the populace for which you are charged. Meaning, he's supposed to be the one to be the bulwark against nonsense and stupidity and anti-vaxxers and everything else. And he's like, no, vaccines are terrible, blah, 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 blah. Bro, you got vaccinated. You got vaccinated when you were young. That's how you made it this far. And the reason that polio was eradicated is because we all got vaccinated against it. It didn't mean that the virus and the bacteria that cause these things doesn't exist on the planet. It always is. What? Why are you looking like that, Tom?
This dude teaches at the University of Florida and has 2 degrees from Harvard. And not Harvard spelled with an E, from Harvard. And one of his degrees is that his medical training is official medical training. So one presumes his MD is from Harvard, but he also has a PhD in health policy.
Yeah.
And is a vaccine denier. So they found this dude, he's a Nigerian immigrant.
They
found this cat.
It's always goddamn Nigerians. Yo, I say this with all intended level of respect, which is none. It's always the damn Nigerians. And the reason I say it that way is because when I was in Africa, when I visited Ghana, Togo, and Benin, all of them was like, my Ghanaian and the Togo guide both said that Nigerians are the Americans of the continent of Africa. That's how they're viewed. Anything for $1, money is king. I got mine, you get yours. They're the only rugged individualism country in the whole continent. Everybody else is like, let's help each other. They're like, no, not doing that. Matter of fact, what would she tell me? First off, she said, you're going to get scammed everywhere in the country. Like, scamming is a thing that they do. So just accept that. But a Ghanaian, if you put $50 on the table, a Ghanaian, they're going to take 30, but they're going to leave you 20 so you can at least get something to eat. You know, they're not going to clean you out. They're just going to take what they feel like they can get away with. She goes, you leave $50 on the table with a Nigerian, they're taking the whole $50, the table and the ground. All of it. Leave you with absolutely nothing. No remorse.
No clothes. They'll take your liver, kidneys.
They'll hug you just to steal the hairpins out your hair. And so it does not surprise me. And I don't deny that he has advanced medical degrees. However, you can get on TV and say whatever you want. And it's doubly diabolical because you have those advanced medical degrees. So someone listening to you is more inclined to believe you. And you know you're lying. Vaccination is a tried and true methodology. It didn't even start in the United States. It's not old as time, but it is proven through multiple methodologies to always be effective in reducing exposure and level of severity of diseases. You know?
Right.
Oh my God. You know what? I didn't even think about that, Sam, about the daycares. Children, they're already licking doorknobs and picking their own nose and everything. Yeah, it's going to be rampant. Yeah, don't go to Florida. And every child across the United States is going to try to get to Disney World and take all that back home with them. And even if they do contain it to Florida, it's going to cripple the country, cripple the state, because Disney World is a massive contributor to the state's economy. If people stop coming there because the whole state is a hot zone, ain't nobody doing it. You know, let's do the absolute worst thing possible, Lord.
Right.
I mean, we elected Florida man as president, so what do we expect?
The level of
hang on. You know who I look like?
Who?
Hang on. What y'all doing over here? Remember that meme? Remember that girl that just like popped up in the screen like, yes, that's me. I'm a living meme.
So we're talking about the CDC and the vaccine stuff and all the stuff that's put out there. And of course, RFK Jr. is the head of the CDC, Health and Human Services, all of that. But there's another candidate who is perhaps as dumb And that's the senator from Louisiana who came out
Lord.
and said, eating radioactive shrimp could turn you into an alien. Now,
You lying. You are lying.
this is him pointing to a picture of the xenomorph right after it punched out of somebody's chest. I don't
The
even know which alien it
animatronic.
is.
Lord
It
have
is the
mercy.
animatronic of the xenomorph just coming out of somebody's chest. It could be in the first Alien. It could be in one of the 6 sequels. I don't know. How could eating radioactive shrimp, and of course there is a big thing because, you know, they had the core meltdown in Japan, like, what is it, 6-7 years ago, and, you know, it irradiated the waters and da 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 da. So radioactive shrimp, I'm not saying radioactive shrimp is not real,
Right.
you know, for sure. Not the Hippocratic Oath, sir. Have you no decency, sir?
Right.
But the very fact.
Good point, Bob. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Harvard, you in danger, girl.
They've been in danger. All these people got their degrees from Harvard just to have the president turn on them. So this is why it never pays to make a deal with the devil.
Nope.
Unless, like South Park said, you're the devil.
Right. And let's segue. We didn't even have South Park on the specific menu, but every other week South Park releases an episode. So they're kind of stretching the season because in the last couple of seasons they've only had like 6 episodes. So they're kind of spreading it out. But one of the things that South Park is able to do by giving themselves a gap week is they can wait to see what the president is going to say, and then they can, because they literally, it takes them no time to put together an episode. All of these things are just like shapes in their Adobe After Effects or whatever. They've got their little animations. And so they come up, it's only a 22-minute show. So they come up with it really probably 18 minutes after the end credits. And so there's not a lot that they have to do. And so this week, Trump sued South Park because in episode 1, South Park showed him in bed. Well, not even that. It was the fact that he was in bed with Satan. So he sued them for saying that he was effing Satan. Now, fast forward, because they had a great week with the Christy Nome thing. Then they had a bit of a soft week with Towley and Tecrity. And then they came back. The entire episode, it was kind of 2 things. Part 1 of the episode, the first theme was how Trump was effing Satan. That's a double entendre. Trump is having sex with Satan, and Trump is actually Satan. There's 2 ways to view that phrase. Trump is effing Satan. Trump is effing, and they kept saying it and using the real word. We're not going to use it because we don't want a content strike. But they were using the real word. They had a press gaggle. All Fox News hosts. Excuse me, sir. You, Satan? and no. And here comes Satan out of Air Force One.
Right.
I want to go. And he's clutching like a Gucci purse. It's absolutely hilarious. And by the end of the episode, it is revealed that Satan is pregnant with Trump's baby.
Barron got a brother.
Listen. So if you're not watching South Park and you have a Paramount Plus subscription, I did cancel my Paramount Public subscription, but it's not going to expire for a year because I pay a year in advance. And so now, every time South Park comes on, I stream it like 4 times in the night. Even after I go to bed, I just keep it streaming so that they know, yes, I do want to watch this show. Yes. Please keep giving me these episodes. And I kind of feel like, even though Paramount gave them $1 billion, so, you know, they're not going to not run the show. They gave them $1 billion. But it is also clear to me that Paramount's like, so you got $16 million from us? We're going to get every penny of value out of that $16 million because we are clowning you. And the whole Colbert thing is blowing up because he's doing a thing with Jasmine Crockett, but he's also doing a thing with Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid. I mean, there's a lot going on.
There's about to be a resistance news force.
Oh, it's happening.
It's going to be witty and smart and funny and
sharp.
Going to be great and sharp.
And I mean, so see what I did there. So it's Oh, okay. So this is Sam is telling us about uh all of the various kinds of sickness that he's been experiencing
Hmm.
this year. And so all January he couldn't eat without vomiting because of knowing we elected this fool. Then after that, the body just felt weird. This administration is making me sick.
Yeah,
And it's making us all sick.
that's a
And
real thing. Yeah.
it is a real thing. It's absolutely a real thing. And perhaps one of the things that might be a vaccine against this is your favorite governor, Gavin C. Newsom. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Mhm.
And, this is what is going on Etsy, y'all.
And
Save democracy.
here's the thing. I want everybody to understand. If Gavin Newsom runs for the Democratic ticket, I'm going to vote for him. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man could run on the Democratic ticket, and I would vote for him. I'm gonna say something wild. I'm gonna say something real wild, real wild. Ted Cruz could run on the Democratic ticket, and I would vote for him. You know why? Because I'm voting for not this, not no parts of this. Ted Cruz will never do that. That's why I said something ridiculous. I told you it was
Yeah,
wild. But I want y'all to
yeah.
understand. A sentient sack of old oxtails could run for president against Donald Trump, and I'm voting oxtails 2028.
It's interesting that you mentioned semi-sentient and also the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because Ted Cruz had the temerity to insult Pritzker about his weight. It's like,
Ted Cruz out here
bruh,
looking like what was the name of that vampire uncle on the Munsters? Because that's who he looks like. He used to look like Eddie Munster, but now he looks like the uncle, not Fester, the
no,
vampire
no,
uncle.
no, yeah.
Mhm.
I know who you're talking about.
Right. I'm gonna go find him. Yeah,
Because the
keep talking.
Munsters and the Addams family are definitely two different things. I was more of an Addams family person myself. Grandpa, they just called him Grandpa, I think.
He was grandpa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was Grandpa. He wasn't the uncle. He was just Grandpa.
Tell
And and
tell me this ain't Ted Cruz.
no, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
Yep.
Except he's not in Cancun. So to be
Right. Yeah, I did get the Munsters and the Addams family mixed up. Uncle Fester is Addams family. But anyway,
fair.
don't cross. What y'all doing over here? Hey, Chris. Welcome to the
Yeah.
show.
Oh, that I went to high school with this guy. His name is not Chris, but that's okay. That's his Facebook profile name.
He gonna be Chris today.
He
Yeah.
can be Chris today. That's fine. Speaking on to another big story, that we had some great news prior to Labor Day, and then we had kind of a reversal of fortune. So Alligator Alcatraz Part 2.
Again,
So
like Florida said, let's do the worst thing possible.
let's
And
do
we're
the
gonna
worst
do
thing
it.
possible. So what we had is that we had a tribe, an indigenous tribe, that raised the issue of how Alligator Alcatraz was spoiling the wetlands that were protected wetlands. And so
Mhm.
they got a judge to say, yep, you're right. These are protected. They can't do this. They're violating this, that, and the third. And so the
Mhm.
headline was Alligator Alcatraz shutting down. Now, that was a huge problem because all of this money was spent out of the Florida budget to do this, with the understanding that
They were
either
getting money for housing
they
these
were getting from the federal, from Homeland
mhm,
Security,
for
or
housing these innocent
whatever.
people. Yeah.
They were gonna get that money. And so, but it was like 200 something million dollars, a huge big deal. And then there's an update, and an appeals court judge says, no, you can keep it open. Now, of course, there's the Florida Supreme Court, and then there's
Mhm.
ultimately the Supreme Court.
But I
But
mean, that tracks because we've broken every treaty that we've ever made with native
absolutely,
indigenous
absolutely,
people in this country. So
yeah.
yeah.
So uh, not the best news, but again, it's Florida, and so Florida going Florida, and that's kind of where we are as far as that goes. But Alligator Alcatraz versus Alligator Hands, I don't know. It's kind of a coin toss for me. Remember when Mitch McConnell had some really gross discoloration on his hands,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the whole
Mitch with the glitch.
Mitch with the glitch, and this is not great. He's got a huge vein on his left hand, and then he's got that bruising and discoloration on the right hand. And some people are saying my hands look better than any other hand. Never been better hands. I have the smallest hands and the best hands. Actually, they're not the smallest; they're the biggest hands.
Hey, Trump
Yes.
just renamed the Department of Defense the Department of War.
Yeah, he said that pre-Labor Day. Why don't we call it the Department of War? That sounds stronger. It was the Department of War. And we changed it to the Department of Defense. We changed it to the Department of Defense.
He's gearing up. All he has to do is get Congress to agree to declare war or to start a war. Because if we fire on the right people, they will absolutely fire back, and then we'll be forced to declare war. Right. And if they do that, then he doesn't have to have a 2028 election.
That's going to kind of spoil the Nobel Prize talk.
He don't care about that no more. He just wants to stay in power forever.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. This, y'all, I'm so serious. We are potentially too far gone. It's very possible that we might end up living in a fascist regime for a generation. Yeah. He's supposed to be ending wars, but clearly not. Clearly not. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it is an entire mess.
Right. And what aggravates me is that the Democratic Party writ large keeps believing that they can operate under the rules that they've operated under before, which is polite civility, negotiation, and some hand wringing, and bang the gavel a little bit, and decorum will be restored. And we're so far beyond that. And they're still playing Latin. And not only are they playing checkers, they're playing checkers from the 1800s. Like, none of this is working, right? And I can see us.
Go ahead.
I can see us expecting him to step down. I can see them saying he can't declare war because Congress has to declare war. And it never occurs to them that he will just start one by shooting. He has enough people throughout the military to, if he ordered a strike, they would strike. And then what? Right?
I feel like I'm a little less concerned about that, because I think that would be a bridge too far for too many Republican senators.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if he gets us into something, say he punches, I don't know, somebody that can, say he hits North Korea, we're going to war. Right. If he attacks China, or if he attacks Russia or the Ukraine, some entity with nuclear power, they're going to have to declare war from a defensive standpoint, and then we'll be at war. So he could start one if he wanted to.
I guess I tend to think that the whole.
Oh wait, Muriel's got an update.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you've all heard about this in Florida. Donna Adelson has been convicted on all charges for conspiring to unalive her son-in-law, Florida State University professor Don Markle, in 2014. Justice has been a long time coming, but yeah.
There was a podcast about that, I think.
Was there? I didn't hear the podcast.
Yeah, years and years and years ago. I mean, 2014.
Well, it was 2014, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I recall, and it was a twisted story about that whole plot. And I forget the details, but now, of course, thanks to Google, I'll be able to look them up and figure out what happened. But that's good to know. And of course, it's Florida. And I had friends who went to FSU, obviously not at that time, since that was many years after I graduated. But
right.
You know, it's a kooky, crazy, nutty place. It is. And,
I don't understand the innate desire to cause pain to somebody else.
Right.
That's not in my makeup. And so, I've heard people say like, we got to hit them where it hurts. It's the only thing they understand is money and pain. And I don't understand that. And I think that's where a lot of, in my opinion, melanated communities struggle with how to reconcile with the unmelanated community, because we just don't get that. I would never do you like that. And so I don't understand why you revel in doing me like that, because I wouldn't
Right.
do you that. So it makes no sense to me. But then you keep seeing, and the irony of it all is the very ones that tend to eat people, that commit mass murder, mass shootings, serial killer, blah, 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 are the hypothetically blonde hair, blue eyed ones that people think are pretty. And so we just give them a pass. They didn't mean it. They were sensitive. They were struggling. His dad hit him when he was little. All of this is, man, they be wilding. I don't get it. I don't get it. And it is my job to study humanity. And I spend my time trying to understand how to reach that population, because they really just DGAF. And they just as soon watch you struggle because it's funny. You see what I mean? The whole cutting tails off of cats and all that kind of nonsense. I've never been around anyone that found any sort of pleasure in torturing a smaller animal. And so going back to the Epstein files, I'm sure there are multiple people of different races and everything in there. However, there seems to be a type of person that wants to see the suffering of a young girl, and they're all over that file. And that's why they're trying to lobby together to, I got a friend that works in, we'll just say technology to keep it vague, but he has been around people with ungodly amounts of money. And I remember him telling me this like 20 years ago with a haunted look in his eye. He's like, Joy, rich white people, they be into some BS. Like, I can't even explain to you. He's like, but there's people, I won't even go on trips with them no more because they be just wilding. Because I think we were talking about some show where they were hunting humans. And he was like, look, I'm just saying, they be into some wild stuff. Because when you run out of thrills, the thrill is in the kill, right? Like when you run out of things to do, you cut all the ears off of all the puppies and you've beat up all the women in your life. Well, I guess I'll just start hunting. Think about how often they lynch somebody as fun. Think about how often they tie somebody behind a truck.
Right.
Now, granted, there have been multiple civilizations and communities across the world, even in melanated places, where you may, the reason we have the Geneva Convention is because people used to torture folks for information. There were crimes of war, etc. But just on a random Saturday night, hey, I'm gonna drag somebody behind my truck because I don't want to go home. I don't like my wife. I don't like my job. So I'm gonna murder you. Like, that is wild to me. And thank you. I've been using my skincare.
It's interesting that Donna Adelson is a part and was finally convicted, rightly so, based on what I knew from the podcast, of the murder for hire scheme. But she is not related to another wealthy Adelson, Sheldon Adelson, who was the newspaper and then whatever magnate who was in Nevada and bankrolling a whole lot of Trump stuff. But you Adelsons, y'all, you need to sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
And relax. Because you're going to have plenty of time to relax in prison because you're going to die in there. And your son, who is much more engaged in the plot, is actually going to die in prison as well. So,
don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Well. And of course, that ended up being kind of prophetic too, because the dude who played Beretta was involved in his own little murder thing. So it's like, it's karma, baby. Karma, chameleon. Yeah, the whole family was involved. Yeah. It was the son and then the son's wife and all of this because the dad, who was the FSU professor, his in-laws lived in South Florida. And so the ex-wife wanted to take the kids to South Florida, but there was a court decree saying, no, you can't move them 7 hours away. They have joint custody. And so grandma said, well, why don't we just kill him? And if I kill him, then we don't have to worry about that. And she can come and stay with me. Okay.
Think about that.
And they did not convict Wendy, the wife, the ex.
Mm.
So I guess they'd still have a mother who was at least tacitly complicit in the murder of their father. And now those kids, because it's what, 11 years later when it
Mm-hmm.
happened. So if they were too young to read the newspapers or the headlines back then, they are certainly old enough to see how scandalous and crazy it is now.
Right. And
So
Sammy, so black MAGA is also learning that white MAGA ain't seeing it for them either. Yeah. FAFO
nope.
season is on. Yes, for sure. Oh, wait. Muriel is saying that she's immune, the mother. She may have gotten immunity for diming everybody else out. I don't know. I don't
Well,
know
I
enough
know at
about
least one other person who was a part of the plot got a significantly reduced sentence for
it.
testifying against some of the other players. And that's fine. I'm not saying I wasn't saying that she was going to ever be prosecuted. I'm saying her children are going to know that grandma had their dad killed.
Yeah.
And that's bad enough. You got to live
Over
with that.
something as petty as we wanted to move.
And it's 7 hours, but it's a short plane
It's a
ride.
2-hour flight. Yeah.
Yeah, they have flights direct from
If
Tallahassee to
if
Miami.
you can afford a murder for hire, you can afford a Southwest ticket.
Yes. A lot less. Every weekend.
Again, I don't even think it would never occur to me. It would never cross my mind to say, you know what? I don't like the way you're behaving. I want to have my life the way I want it. And so I'm going to hire someone to take your life.
Right.
Now in the hood, we might have, our cousin and our brother beat you up, but you live to fight another day. We don't, as much as people like to bring up the stereotypes of the 80s with the gangs and the shootings and the drive-bys and everything. And all of that is true. A lot of that did happen, but it was a particular person for a particular reason. There was a lot of lack of aiming and a lot of stray bullets, and a lot of young people and old people lost their lives in the crossfire. Howsoever, you didn't hear about somebody just deciding to murder somebody else over convenience.
Right.
Do you remember, this was maybe at the beginning of COVID, there was a young white woman on the internet. She was ostensibly a nurse practitioner, maybe healthcare, home care person or whatever. But she was talking about this old white lady that she took care of. And the old white lady kept having hallucinations about seeing a young black kid in her room and saying there's a little, in boy in my room, blah, blah, blah. And nobody believed her. And one night, as she was giving this woman a sponge bath, whatever, this woman admitted that when she was young, and I want to say it was Louisiana, I'm not sure, but when she was young, there were these two black girls that lived in the city where she lived, and they had prettier dresses than she did. And she didn't appreciate that they had better clothes than she did. So she went home and told her father that their brother had touched her inappropriately. And they lynched the brother and burned the family house down. And so the nurse told her, well, the little boy that you see is probably the boy you had lynched, and you're probably going to hell. I'm here for it.
Thank you, nurse. I completely appreciate you.
Right.
Yes, and I did hear about this. And the reason I heard about it is that I wouldn't say he's digging the bottom of the barrel for the Kennedy Center honors, but he's got some very pop culture people. So Sly Stallone, Gloria Gaynor, who literally had one hit, Kiss, George Strait, Michael Crawford from Broadway. Not a bad list of people, but these are people,
but not a good list of people.
Not a great list. And these are people he selected. But the reason Gloria Gaynor got the nod is that it turns out she was a MAGA donor. Not even just a supporter, but a person who paid money. And so if you're black and you want to get something from Trump and you're famous, the fastest way to do that is to give him some money. And I'd be afraid about your bookings, sis. You'll be petrified about them cancellations.
Where is Chrisette Michele right now? And did she have any other songs?
That's what I'm saying. I'm Googling it now.
I'm sure she had at least one album.
Let's see. No, she had a bunch of records.
Huh.
I mean, a
But
bunch
she
of
had one hit.
albums.
But one hit.
One hit.
Or well, maybe one perennial hit. They may have been good in their day, but they didn't last the way I Will Survive lasts.
Correct.
And you know what's wild about that? It has become over the years a bit of a gay anthem. And that demographic that has kept her one song alive, she is supporting the person that is actively trying to unalive all of them.
Absolutely.
I Will Survive. That's just wrong.
And it says she dabbled in acting for a while, recording studio.
I dabbled in acting for a while.
Well, there it is.
Mm.
I don't even see where she got a lot of albums. So her first album was Never Can Say Goodbye.
Oh, did she sing the song Never Can Say Goodbye?
I don't think so, because I know the Jacksons made it famous.
The Jacksons made it famous, but they might not be their song.
It's possible. Clifton Davis is the writer.
Yeah, we know Clifton Davis.
Reach out. She recorded "I'll Be There." I'll be there again that the Four Tops made famous, but she recorded.
Okay, so either she had a bunch of covers or she wasn't that good of a singer, and none of the rest of them jumped off. But regardless, we don't want to go down the hole on her music because we don't want nobody to try to look it up and stream it.
The Jackson 5 recorded it first.
Okay,
she covered it.
Okay, well, so she was second and worse,
and more worse of her. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she sung background. I don't know. But yeah, now Trump. Ooh, you right, Chan. Trump's gonna have this new theme song, I Will Survive. I'm so mad about that. But anyway, moving on. We've used the phrase F around to find out a couple of times. And there's a few things I want to get into my petty phase, because I've been enjoying the amount of petty that I've seen go around on the internet. We already showed you the one about polio and everything, but so we all know that this administration is actively trying to erase all mention of Black, Hispanic, Latin, Asian, LGBTQ women history. All traces. Nobody ever did nothing except cisgender, heterosexual, Christian, white men over 50. Like everybody else is trash. And so a lot of the museums are being attacked. Meanwhile, in China, this is going on. While Trump is closing our Black museums down, China announces plans to open its first museum dedicated to African culture and history. So, a lot of people will tell you like China is colonizing Africa, and they are.
They are.
I'm not saying they're not. Howsoever,
the hell out of it.
It's, to borrow from an old Bush phrase, it's a kinder, gentler colonization, right? They're taking all the minerals, but they also building railroads,
Oh, no, they're doing what they can to, and listen, I worked on and off in Africa for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And so when you fly into like Uganda, well, especially in the part of Uganda that's close to the capital is Kampala. The airport is in Entebbe, which you might remember from the movie Raid on Entebbe, because Idi Amin held hostages there. So, but as you drive from Entebbe, you are passing by Chinese furniture factories. So they are heavily invested. India, heavily invested in Africa. And so they're definitely doing the thing. They're getting the cobalt and all these precious minerals. But to your point, they are also building infrastructure. It's not, just the rape and pillage.
It's not 100% exploitative.
Yeah. No, they're exchanging, and it's not trinkets. They're building real infrastructure. And if you've ever been to China and you see how quickly and how fast they can put something up and it remains, it's not all trash. They are,
I want to talk about that too. A lot of this idea that Chinese goods are trash is misrepresentation. Mm-hmm. Cheap Chinese goods are trash, just like cheap American goods are trash. If you buy your pots and pans from the dollar store, guess what? They're going to scratch up and be tore up. If you buying a 25-cent toothpaste, yes, it's going to have glycogen or whatever in it. It's going to poison you, right? So it's more about what we're willing to pay versus quality, because they got high quality stuff.
They
I'm gonna tell
do.
you, I'm gonna be very complete and open, honest. This is my second year working with Alibaba for my homecoming stuff, and I wanted to have a T-shirt made. So I asked my cousin, who has her own little T-shirt silkscreen thing, "Hey, cuz, what can you do for me for a T-shirt? I'm gonna need 100." She's like, "Oh yeah, I can get you like a really really good price. I can do it for like $18 a piece." Ma'am, fuck what? Ma'am, no. So I was like, hang on, let me see what I can do. So I go to Alabama. Now, this is with the tariffs in place. This is with the extra shipping costs in place. And I got a custom design silk screen on the front, like a V-neck front left pocket or whatever. $8.80 delivered.
Door to
That's in
door.
spite of all the other tariffs and everything.
And here is something that is the truth. So
Mhm.
you can see this is a cartoon drawn in 1925 by Bob Miner titled One Day They'll Wake Up. And you see what it is.
Yeah.
Chinese workmen, an India workman, and an African workman. And they are looking down on the United States holding these whips that have no juice anymore. You see the
Mhm.
bicep on that brother? That
Yeah.
bicep is taller than the little short dude in the
And
stovepipe.
the other two that are with them, I see US, French, and British imperialism
Yes.
on those three. Yeah.
So the formerly colonized aren't here for it. And they know what they have and they know what they're bringing to the party. And that's where we are.
Right.
And let's be clear, while Trump has been living out his little puerile fantasies, China is becoming the new source of power. Because guess what? China's making your iPhones. Don't get it confused. Don't try to pretend that, they don't know what they do, blah, blah, blah. China is making your iPhones. So
Right.
if you think China's only about bad quality, you're fooling yourself.
They made a point because they wanted everybody to understand all that Hermes, all of that Versace, everything else that you buy, they make it in China. And all they do is not put the emblem on it, and
Correct.
it becomes a knockoff, but the quality is there.
It's the same.
This idea that it's all going to fall apart is antiquated and honestly stereotypical or biased point of view.
But to that point, Joy has something she wants to share on the FAFO front. And so
Yes.
roll that beautiful beam footage.
Right. So we talked about, like the imperialism cartoon just shows one day they're going to wake up. What I'm also loving that I'm seeing all across the internet is Black content makers, Black coders, et cetera, taking things into their own hands and letting people know you ain't going to just talk to me any kind of way on the internet.
Nope.
Like such.
Called me slurs over and over again in my live stream the other night for no reason. Guess what? You're going to get kicked out of the United States Navy. You know how they tell us that we should be careful what we do on social media because there could be real life consequences? Hi, my name's Real Life Consequence. I've done a thorough background check and now I know everything about you. I know what little town in Texas you're from. I know your name, your phone number, your email address. I've seen your disciplinary records. I know the names of all of your family members, including your dead mother and your daughter who turns 2 next week and her mother who's going to have to pay for all the birthday presents this year because you came into my live stream and saw a Black man who was talking about Pokemon cards and video games, and you assumed, yeah, he's not going to do anything if I call him slurs repeatedly, even though he's trying to help me. Turns out I am going to do something. Turns out there are so many things I can do because I have all the screenshots. I have all of the recordings. I know that after you left my live stream, you went into someone else's and started talking about how much you love Jesus and God and the Bible. So maybe I should send that evidence to the church you go to in that little town we both know about. I know exactly which boat in the Navy you serve on, and I know the names of Black sailors that serve on the same boat as you. Maybe I'll send the clips to them as well. But only after I send them to the Naval Inspector General's office because I'm getting you fired. I'm getting you kicked out of the Navy. There's nothing you can do to stop me. There is no apology I will accept. There is no excuse I will listen to. There is no money you could offer me. You're getting fired. And when you're working the graveyard shift in an Amazon warehouse and your back hurts and your feet hurt and those white bright lights are beating down on you and the teenager who still has his life ahead of him walks up to you and says, "What are you doing here?" Tell him the truth. Tell him about me.
Hashtag turns out.
Yep.
Turns out.
Mm-hmm. So in the end, keep your opinions to yourself. And here's the thing: you can disagree with me. We can argue about stuff, but you ain't gonna just be calling me slurs. It's what my mother said, you know, lost down to a squabble. You can't make a cogent argument. So you're just going to call me names and think you're going to hurt me. Okay, I got something for you. Do they think we don't know how to use computers? They think we won't figure it out. You know, just like the one woman who, I forget exactly how she did it, but she figured out the way to stop that one white woman from getting money after she called a little black girl slurs and everybody was donating to her defense. Yeah, no, you're not getting this money. Absolutely not. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it over and over again. Mm-hmm.
And that woman got in trouble.
Yeah, she got in trouble. And this dude is going to get kicked out of the Navy. Matter of fact, one of the comment that was a little cut off next to it is another guy who said, oops, pause. As a huge nerd and retired U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer, I am so very proud of you. I also suggest that you send this to his ship chain of command and members of his ship. With the current administration, there's a possibility that much won't happen if it's not made public enough. Sometimes the only way to get true justice is if the branch of service is involved, is embarrassed by the sailor's actions. Sad but true. This has already gone super viral. It's got like over 100,000 likes. Like that naval officer is absolutely in trouble. Yeah, he came out like Papa Pope. I am the hell and the high water.
Listen, right? and just the thing that was like really incredible about it. First of all, he had the wherewithal to do that slow push, which just made it the ratchet up the tension, and he just kept it very even, very Keith Lee, just like, I got it. I'm about to do it, and here we get ready to 1 through 10. It's just like,
have to be overly demonstrative and raise my voice. Just know that you're going to lose your job.
Turns out. Epic. And then has the Meet the Graham soundtrack behind it.
Right.
And he's talking about his kids, and your wife is going to have to buy all the birthday presents.
Your 2-year-old daughter.
Have no money, and your dead mama.
Your dead mother.
Yo. Listen.
I know everything about you.
I know everything about you. I got you.
Mm-hmm. I got you, and I got you. And I might be bringing more as I find these things. I might be bringing more of that because it helps me keep balance in my life. Mm-hmm. You know, if you follow me on Threads or Instagram, I'm not on Facebook as much as I used to be because too many people I don't like are on Facebook, and I never unfriended them, so my algorithm is all messed up with their nonsense. But on Threads, it's all K-pop demon hunters, stray kids, and Booker Squared, and Joanne Reed, and all of the other, and Rachel Maddow and all the other activists. And so if I'm not being outraged by what's going on, I'm being entertained by my 8 Korean babies and K-pop demon hunter stuff.
Booker Squared is doing all the things. We talked
She's
about
live right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. She quit her job. Mm-hmm. So because between her extra job and also her social media stuff and her husband, they're covered. They're good. And so now she's free to do whatever the heck it is that she wants to do, and she's doing it. And she is out. The long knives are out for RFK. Perhaps we'll see by the time the next week's episode comes on. But he's facing a torrent of drama in his Senate hearings right now. And so between this vaccine stuff and the chief of the CDC quitting, and then being fired, and then 4 other senior CDC officials quitting in protest, he is making this country sicker. And I don't understand how a dude that sounds like he gargles with Drano could possibly be presented as some sort of credible source on taking care of one's body. You admitted you used to do horse and you had a worm eating your brain, bro. Like, how does that happen? And when I say horse, I'm not talking about a pony. I'm talking about the worst drug, skag, smack, just heroin, bro. It's just boat strike.
Hang on, look this up real quick. Okay.
Yeah, no, I got it. So there was a little slip of a boat. It had 11 people on it. It was a 16-foot boat. And they sent a drone or something. They sent an aircraft. Now, this is off the coast of Venezuela. And this is a boat that clearly, it wasn't a yacht. It was a 16-foot motorboat. Clearly did not have enough fuel to even get close to the United States border or the shore of the United States. They zapped it with a missile and killed all those people. And Trump did it under the aegis of protecting America.
He's trying to start a war. He's trying to get them to go to war with him. And Venezuela's like, that's not even real.
Right. Like, but what we need to do, because we'll have things we want to talk about next week. Joy, is there anything? I think we actually went through all of our content this week. It was
I think we did. Oh, well, the one thing I would like to add to the content.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
On a high note. So I wasn't here last week because it was Dragon Con in Atlanta. And just like I've done for the last few years and will continue to do, I was all up in Dragon Con. And last year I had a chance to be like a moderator for a panel. This year I did not one, not two, but 4 panels. One of them, I did the opening that I did last time. I did one on cosplay. I did one on representation in Black literature and why we write what we write. And then I did one on K-pop demon hunters. I was actually the D&I subject matter expert. And when I said what I did for a living, this whole room clapped because they were like, yay, keep fight the good fight. You know, we'll hide you if we need to. So I had a good time. But the star of my weekend was the fact that I was a part of the press corps for Moana Nui podcast. Now, some of you that might see me post the stuff on my other pages. The Moana Nui podcast group is like, we do a show about like Marvel and DC, like what are you watching, anime, movies, etc. I do a segment on history, hidden history that people don't know about, but I got to be one of their reporters. And it just so happened that because of the economy and because things are kind of slow, a lot of news outlets didn't send as many people as they normally do, which means the little news outlets got a chance to do things we normally would not have been able to do. One of which was meet John Boyega. You can hate me now. That's a genuine smile on his face because I am now his auntie. He adores me. We friends. He was happy to see me, all the things. I was covering I got caught up on the news because the local news outlet did a piece about Dragon Con parade coverage. And there's a picture of me interviewing my friend Angela McWilliams about the parade. We were covering out front. We also dressed up as, so here's the rest of the picture of John Boyega. This is the Moana Nui podcast team. And in this picture is another Sharpie. The guy in the suit in the blue on the far right, I think, is Miles. That's Miles Simmons, who's in our chat right now, as a matter of fact. Or he might be. It depends if the Eagles started playing or not. But see how John Boyega has his arm around me?
Yeah.
That's me, because he loves me. Right. Now, we also, that blue suit he had on was part of the center's thing that we did. So I played Annie. You can see me third from the left over there. We had several smokes and stacks, and a Remick popped up. My friend Tia was Mary, and we had a really good time. You know, I saw Major Payne. We had, he did a good Major Payne. We had over 500 people show up for the Black Geeks Dragon Con photo shoot. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. There's me and another. He actually had a gold fang in his mouth.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. And so all that to say, once again, I met John Boyega. He touched me. We're friends. Look at the smile. We look like family. He's my cousin. He's my baby. He's my little baby nephew. I adore him. He's actually a very sweet guy.
Them some big toothy grins. Y'all was grinning it all the way up.
Oh, the name of the podcast. Sorry. Moana Nui. Matter of fact, I'll
Moana, like the show. And I mean, like the movies.
Mm-hmm. So I'm putting it in the chat. If you look up Moana Nui podcast, they have like maybe 15 or 20 different channels. Each channel is dedicated to one of the shows they produce. So just look for Moana Nui After Dark, what you watching. You want to see them smokes and stacks one more again? Hang on, I got you. Let's holler at them one more again. So I know who you're looking at, and I'm so mad about it because I can't stand how smooth this brother is, and it's the one on the far right. That's Fred. I have a love-hate relationship with Fred because Fred is my friend, but Fred be looking good, and he knows it, and it's aggravating as all hell. I can't stand Fred.
So you had three stacks and 2 smokes.
Yes, there were plenty more, and there were maybe
Right.
5 or 6 remix. But that the picture I took was from the Black Geeks Dragon Con photo shoot. So Remick couldn't be in the picture, but we'd step to the
Right.
side. We're like, Remick, come get in with us. And they started there was a guy with a banjo that could actually play, and he was going around playing Pick, Pour, Robin, Clean. It was super
Okay.
cool. Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
It was awesome. Wait, hang on. I'm gonna see if I can find Fred for you. Hang on. Because he put up another picture, and I was like, oh, I hate you. Because it was super smooth.
He's super smooth.
Yeah, I'm embarrass him. This is him being a pirate. It's not coming in very well. But the one that I thought was super, super nice.
We'll drop it in our feed.
Yeah. This right here. I was like, don't you ever leave a house like this again. Out here looking like a GQ ad. Yeah.
Well, to Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan's credit, they made it super easy to have a dope Halloween costume this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
yeah.
all you gotta do is have some tweed and a hat.
Yeah, all he needed was the hat. He had that suit in his closet. Same thing with Smoke, who was Miles Simmons. He had that suit in his closet. They made it. Right. Matter of fact, I got that denim skirt and that blue shirt off of Shein for like $20.
There you go.
Say, oh, I definitely see Fred.
Ah!
Oh, Fred, I hate you so much. He's honestly, Fred is a genuinely nice guy. It's just, how you just like to hate somebody just because. Yeah. And it was fun. If y'all want to come to Dragon Con next year, because it's a lot of fun. And if you're into any kind of like nerdy, geeky stuff, there is something there for you. And yes, Fred is smoother than Henny. Mm-hmm. He absolutely is. And he knows it. That dude is 60 or 59.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yeah. To still be looking
a great beard. I just didn't.
He don't look it. He looks my age. And that's only because he has gray in the beard. It's I don't know. Drinking water and eating something, I don't know, eating vegetables or something, who knows. But we're not gonna talk about Fred no more because I can't stand Fred. Damn it, Fred. But closet cosplay is the best. Yeah, if you want to come out my first cosplay was Michonne. I had on a pair of jeans and a black denim jacket and a crazy bad $10 Rasta wig that I pulled from Party City and put a bandana on. We about to be after dark. We're not doing after dark because of Fred. No. I will let him know that I talked about him on the show though. But I want to end on another high note, and that is Black women are out here doing the doggone thing. Every time I turn around, there's another Black business that is celebrating $1 million sold. There's another one celebrating 10,000 followers. There's another one that wants to say her business has made it 5 years now. My own business is now 7 years old. I beat that 7-year stretch. So Black women out here living their best life, right? And good luck to the rest of y'all. Like, y'all get with us because we are the catch. We are the prize. And so just like what I said about Obama when he first started running for president, if you can get a Black woman to listen to you, you can run the world. That's what it takes. If you can convince one of us that you are about something, you can run the world. And not all of us, one of my type of Black women. Yes. And that is one of Trump's biggest fears.
Absolutely. It's why he refers to any Black woman who critiques him is a low IQ person.
Right.
That's his not word.
That's his
low
go-to.
IQ.
This from someone who says, I got a good brain. Okay.
I have all the best words. So smart.
Air, TV, camera, picture, chair. Look at me. I'm so smart.
Person, woman, man, TV. Camera.
So any final things you want to say, Tom?
I do not. I will say that my son is getting his driver's permit, which is, I don't know how I feel about that, but he's coming to homecoming. He's coming to FAMU. So, wow.
Y'all funny. Our Sharpies are hilarious. I love y'all.
He couldn't spell AI either, and neither could Linda McMahon. So I will say, I'm looking forward to next week's show. This is going to be interesting. I am going to be actually in the third week of September. I'm going to be at the Congressional Black Caucus Annual Legislative Conference. So I will be in DC, and
You'll
so
be
I'll
reporting
see.
from the floor. I
We'll
wish
be.
I had known.
I will see if maybe Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, we just got our tickets this week, but I will see if Jasmine Crockett is available. Hey, Jasmine, let me send you a link to Steel Sharp and Steel Girl. Come on,
right?
the show.
Come holler at us. I'll be in
my
New York.
pants. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm finished with my work Thursday afternoon. I was like, if I knew, I could ride train down to DC, but I got nowhere to stay and nothing to do other than being away. But yeah, I'll be in New York. But we will definitely be having a show next week, so you can be the correspondent in the street.
Yes. So with that, I will say I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel. Make sure you like and subscribe and get people to watch the show. We love having you. Thank you, and we'll see you next.